Okay, Jimi Hendrix and the Electric Church. This was a concept that that can be defined as an informal cooperative of musicians performing more exploratory music in non-traditional settings. So the idea here is that this is something that's not like anything else. Uh, when we talk about non-traditional settings, we are talking about a place that is not a formal designated location. Music festival would be in a field somewhere with a constructed stage. A powwow takes place at a brush arbor and an arena. Um, a rodeo takes place in an arena somewhere. These arenas, you might say they're formal for rodeo or formal for powwows. Buffalo Bill had a lot to do with the way that got kind of crystallized. He did the old Wild West shows in like really gospel tents. The Ryman Auditorium in Nashville at one time was considered a non-traditional setting because the Ryman Auditorium was constructed for a Methodist evangelist named Sam Jones who conducted tent revivals throughout the South, and a steamboat captain by the name of Captain Thomas Ryman uh, constructed the Ryman Auditorium to be a permanent tent location for Evangelist Jones. That was from Cartersville, Georgia. So this was at one time a non-traditional setting. Uh, I have been involved over the years not only in doing music festivals and outdoor venues, but I conducted 7 rodeo camps, 3 in Tennessee, 4 in South Dakota, with bull riding clinics and barrel racing clinics and goat tying clinics, roping clinics for young people. And the last 4 in particular for Native American young people. This would be a non-traditional setting. It was on a farm where there were panels and corrals set up for the animals, and the people camped in teepees or tents, and this is a non-traditional setting, quite different than a formal concert in a concert hall or than a formal worship service in a church or cathedral. Um, Tent revivals, which I have participated in a number of them and organized a number of them. You get a totally different attended people there than you will in a formal building. Because in a tent revival, the the onlookers can be as close in on the sawdust as they want to be, or as far back. They can even be drunk men underneath a tree outside, listening to the service because the sides are open. And the preaching and the worship and everything that happens there can go out into the woods or out into the field. And this is, really, really important. Now, what does this mean to scriptural Christianity, and how is this based in the Bible, maybe? Well, it clearly is a concept of the kingdom of God over and against the formal church. The formal church, we understand, is a subset of the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is a much larger construct. The church, in particular, goes, baptizes, and teaches according to Matthew 28:19-21. They have particular function to baptize, to conduct the Eucharist, Lord's Supper, to teach Scripture, teach the Bible. And I was involved in the formal church for 26 years as a formal pastor. But I've also been involved in many larger venues that I would categorize as kingdom work. And the kingdom work would be based on Isaiah 61. Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he's anointed me to preach good news to the poor, deliverance to the captives, recovering of sight to them that are blind, set at liberty to them that are bruised. So it's to reach out to many of the hurting people who are not either functional enough or well enough to be able to sit in a formal church service. Okay? So this is the application. So there would be the church, and then the electric church would be those larger worlds where God is and God lives, and through his creation we can experience him in a way outdoors that you cannot in particular experience him in a formal building. And this includes the whole concept of mountain spirituality, because climbing a mountain on a pilgrimage to do prayer ceremonies or devotion to God is not anything like a formal church service in a sanctuary. But it is a biblically supported, legitimate practice and needed practice. And it yields different results. So this is where, as my sister used to say, all my snacks come together. Is in this concept of electric church, that we no longer have to worry about whether or not we're going to get the people to come into our buildings. We no longer need to worry about whether or not we're going to sell enough tickets to pay for the concert. We just go do. We go do it, and we go where the people are, and especially the people that are unable to come. You know, I got these photos that I've collected. One is of Johnny Paycheck in a nursing home with one microphone and a guitar. Jose Feliciano doing the same thing. And this is very meaningful for me because these are people that have filled huge arenas. And they understand that there's an inside job and there's an outside job. The inside job is legitimate, and we would never want to subtract from that. We're not saying to do away with formal church services in buildings. We're not saying that musicians shouldn't be paid through ticket sales in concert halls. We are not saying that sporting celebrities should not receive salary for performing sports in sport arenas. We are saying that there's a larger venue here. And you don't need to be worrying and fretting about not having anywhere to play or nowhere to work, because it's a big old world out there. Okay? So that's kind of where I'm getting to on Jimi Hendrix and Electric Church. I'm going to leave you now, and please click like and subscribe. Have a blessed day.